In this tutorial, I'll show you how to design and build a Moodle book, which is a great way to provide content to your students. This functionality has been greatly improved with the inclusion of the new Snap theme now available at GoTAFE. Let's start with the student experience. Notice here that when a book is displayed under Snap, you get to preview its contents before you even access the book itself. I see a preview image and some text, and the chapters within the book, so that a student has a sense of both of the nature of the content and its extent before they launch into it. If they click on these links, they'll be taken directly to that page. Within a book, content can be arranged to include both images and text, and you'll notice the navigation for these books is available in a table of contents on the left-hand side. You'll see here that there's a series of chapters, and some of those chapters include sub-chapters. In addition to this table of contents navigation, a student can click on the next and previous buttons available at the bottom of the screen. Books can include a mix of content, including video materials, images and text, and basically any other content that you can add to your Moodle. When a student reaches the end of a book, they can either use the navigation at the very bottom of the screen to navigate to the next or previous sections of content within Moodle, or they can use the breadcrumb navigation above to navigate back through the structure. So now that we've explored the student experience, let's go forth and build our first book. So I'm now logged in as a developer. I have the editing controls and can begin adding content to my Moodle. To start that process, I'm going to choose Create Learning Activity, swap to the Resources tab, and then choose Book. Here, I get to give the book a title and a description. Remember, these are the words that appear prior to them actually accessing the book. I'll put in some dummy text. And you might recall that in my example, in the early part of the recording, I had an image. Now, it's one of the really nice features about the Atto editor that you see here is that if you have an image that's on your computer, you can simply drag and drop that into place. Of course, whenever we're using images, we need to be really confident that we own the copyright and we're allowed to reproduce it in this way. So I'm simply going to take an image that's on my computer, drag it and drop it into the editor here. And there it is. Okay, so I've got my description, I've got my title, I want this to be shown. I can control its appearance if I wish. So for instance, do you want the chapters to be numbered, bulleted, indented, etc.? I'm going to choose numbers, and then I'm hit save and display. So now that we've created our book, we need to add the first bit of content. These are called chapters, and they're really the individual pages, if you like, of the book itself. Again, I'll put some text in quickly, and perhaps this time I may want to include a video. Let me go over to YouTube, find a video that I might want to include. Perhaps it's this one here. And if I go down to the share menu, I can copy the YouTube link, which I'll do here. There's also a convenient copy button. Now that I have that, I can return to my Moodle window. I can choose the media option shown by this camera icon. And under the video tab, I can paste in the link to that YouTube video I just discovered and hit insert media. So you can see a video player has now been included. If I save this, we'll get to be able to preview that content. So here it is. We've got our content. So notice also that it's begun to build the table of contents. And at this point, I may want to continue to build the book, populating it with further content. To do that, I need to turn editing on. This changes the display of the screen, and you'll notice now that under the menu items on the left-hand side are a set of controls. Importantly, the plus symbol allows us to add an additional chapter. So you can continue to develop up your content in the ways that you've already seen me, now with additional chapters of the book. Again, maybe I'll throw an image into this screen simply by dragging and dropping it into the window. Again, once I'm happy with that, I hit Save Changes. So we can see that our book is now expanding. We're adding additional chapters. We can resequence those if you like. You can move things up and down. You can also create sub-chapters. So for instance, if I create a new chapter now, but at the top of the screen I choose sub-chapter, I can then have an indented section of content. Again, we can save our changes. And we return to the navigation now, you'll see that this has been indented and has got a sub-navigation, so 2.1 in this instance. So very quickly, you can develop up structured content, reorder and resequence that content in ways that are appropriate. And when you're finished, the only thing to remember is to turn that editing off again so that you return to the normal display of this content. So now that we've finished editing this book, let's return back to the home page and let's see how that will look to our students. Here we are. We get to see the title, its descriptive text, the image that we included in that description. And in addition to this, the students get a sense of what the chapters of this book and its extent prior to actually accessing any of the content. Of course, at this point, they can simply make their selection, click on the link, and they're into, in this case, the first chapter.